Good afternoon. We are coming on the air now with breaking news in the Roger Stone case that has consumed the White House and the Department of Justice this week. It unfolded when the line prosecutors in the case recommended a sentence for Stone, President Trump's longtime friend and political confidant. That came Monday afternoon. Hours later, shortly before 2 a.m. Thursday, President Trump weighed in on Twitter. You see it right there. He called this a horrible, very unfair situation, cannot allow this miscarriage of justice. Then the Department of Justice announced on Tuesday that they were indeed overruling the prosecutors and recommending a lighter sentence. It was an unprecedented move. All four prosecutors stepped down in protests. Congressional Democrats have called for investigations. Former justice officials have decried the White House interference. But President Trump responded with another tweet, congratulating Attorney General Barr for the decision. Our Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas just completed an exclusive interview with the Attorney General. And Pierre, in your interview, Attorney General Barr insisted he acted independently, but also leveled direct criticism at President Trump.
George, this has been a week unlike any other at the Justice Department, creating a firestorm of controversy. Barr is a strong supporter of President Trump, but he's drawing some lines. I asked if the tweets about criminal cases are causing a problem, and he was blunt, saying he wants them to stop.
To have public statements and tweets made about the department, about our people in the department, our men and women here, about cases pending in the department, and about judges before whom we have cases, make it impossible for me to do my job and to assure the courts and the prosecutors in the department that we're doing our work with integrity.
Mr. Barr, the president does not like to be told what to do. He may not like what you're saying. Are you prepared for those ramifications?
Of course. As I said during my confirmation, I came in to serve as Attorney General. I am responsible for everything that happens in the department, but the thing I have most responsibility for are the issues that are brought to me for decision. And I will make those decisions based on what I think is the right thing to do, and I'm not going to be bullied or influenced by anybody. And I said at the time, whether it's Congress, newspaper, editorial boards, or the president, I'm going to do what I think is right. And, I cannot do my job here at the department with a constant background commentary that undercuts me.
Pierre, an awful lot to unpack right there. Of course, the first thing is that the Attorney General and the Department of Justice did not act to overrule the prosecutors until after the president's tweet came out. Did he offer any evidence that he acted without knowing Trump's wishes?
George, he did not offer specifics, but he was emphatic that he never spoke to the president about Stone or anyone else at the White House. He said he conveyed to the prosecutors that the recommendation for 4 to 7 years in prison was excessive before it was filed, and that when he saw the filing, he immediately made clear to the department officials that it would not stand. But, George, we have yet to hear from any of those prosecutors who stepped down for their version of the story.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they say about that. He also says he won't be bullied by the president or anyone else, but he does have a pretty clear pattern of doing what President Trump wants. When he released the summary of the Mueller report, the Department of Justice recommending a lighter sentence also for Michael Flynn, the president's former national security advisor, and just this week opening up that office, assigning the U.S. attorney in Pittsburgh to follow up on the information collected by Rudy Giuliani in Ukraine. Some critics of the Attorney General have said he has indeed been acting like President Trump's defense attorney.
George, we asked him about all that. Barr supports the president's policies and has suggested that he believes the president has been treated unfairly, and he's not shy about making that clear. But he maintains that he believes he's doing what is right and is willing to take the heat from the critics.
He also had some tough words for the prosecutors to step down.
He basically said that their recommendation was wrong and that they were overzealous, and that sometimes people working most closely on the cases lose perspective. Again, we have not heard from them yet, George, so we'll have to see what happens. But Barr says this is his call to make as the Attorney General.
Exclusive interview from Pierre Thomas right there, our Chief Justice correspondent. We'll go to Terry Moran, our senior national correspondent at the White House. I assume it hasn't come across on my Twitter yet, no response yet from President Trump or the White House?
Not yet, but we can expect one for sure, because what Attorney General Barr is trying to do here, he is looking at a crisis of confidence in his leadership at the Justice Department, within the Justice Department, and certainly around Washington. He's trying to back the president off a little bit, it seems, about the kinds of tweets that the president regularly issues, which are almost directing the Department of Justice to investigate specific American citizens or to do certain things in specific cases. That won't go down well with this president. Thinking back, former Secretary of State Rex Tillerson tried to back the president off a little bit from time to time, and he's no longer Secretary of State. Former Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats, same thing. This is very thin ice in some ways that the Attorney General is on, and it must be a very serious situation indeed for him to come forward. But right now, at this point, no tweets, no response from the president as of yet.
Thin ice, even though he's acted in accord, Terry, with the president's wishes in most of these cases.
And the president loves Attorney General Barr up to this point. He was just saying on the radio today that he wishes he'd appointed Bill Barr Attorney General first before Jeff Sessions. So he has a very loyal Attorney General. But in this interview, it's pretty clear that Barr feels that his credibility in some ways is at stake, given what happened in Roger Stone's case, and is trying to back the president off a little bit.
Terry Moran, Pierre Thomas, thanks very much. That exclusive interview, we'll have much more on that, of course, tonight on World News Tonight with David Muir. We return now to your regular programs. Have a good afternoon.
This has been a special report from ABC News.